Coming in at number 9, we have George Foreman versus Dwight Muhammad Qawi, which took place on March 19th, 1988. I am a fan of guys that like to move up in weight classes, and Dwight Muhammad Qawi is probably one of the more extreme examples of that. This guy was only about 5'5", even though he was listed at 5'7", and him fighting a returning Foreman who, even though he was older, would prove to still be just as dangerous as he was in the 70s, is one of the greatest boxing feats in history. And even though he didn't win, he put up a very great fight. He had some great defense early on and was landing big right overhands on the just larger and more physically imposing George Foreman. But one thing about George Foreman is that he was always kind of slow and there to be hit, and Qawi definitely took advantage of that early on, but Foreman just proved to be too much of a force in nature and started to overwhelm Qawi with raw strength and good use of using his own weight to just wear down on Qawi. Qawi kind of gets knocked down in like the 6th round. It's like up to interpretation whether or not it really happened, but the fight ends by 7th round TKO. It's very underwhelming how George Foreman ends up winning. Dwight Muhammad Qawi just kind of like quits basically, but it's still a great fight, even though the conclusion isn't really anything to be desired. It's still like a great fight to look into if you want to see just one of the biggest size mismatches in boxing history. And Dwight Muhammad Qawi actually put up a pretty good fight against George Foreman, who would actually go on to become heavyweight champion once again.